Have you ever noticed that your avoidant partner is just so busy? They always seem to be too busy for you. They're busy with friends, work commitments, trips, family. They're going to concerts. They're gotta work out, gotta go to the gym. Lots of errands to do. Busy, busy, busy. And it always seems hard to pin them down to make time for you. And they even do this by text too. Sometimes they'll be responsive. Sometimes it takes hours or even the next day when they reply to you. And it's always the same excuse. Sorry, was just so busy. Work was so busy, 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 busy. When the avoidant keeps themselves this busy, they're trying to create emotional distance between themselves and you. Especially if you're dealing with a dismissive avoidant or a fearful avoidant that leans heavily dismissive. They use busyness as a shield. It's a way to keep themselves safe. It's a way to keep themselves from getting too close emotionally to their partner, because emotional distance is where they feel safe. This goes back to childhood. This is a person that experienced emotional neglect from their parents or caretakers. In addition to that, their feelings were routinely dismissed, perhaps even outright rejected, or maybe even reprimanded if they showed any kind of negative emotion. The end result is a person that really does not feel comfortable with emotional closeness. They've learned to subconsciously associate it with abandonment, because they learned as a kid, if you rely on anybody for your emotional needs, this person is going to reject you. They're going to abandon you. So they feel compelled to do things to create distance between themselves and their partner, to not let it get too close, to definitely make sure that they don't need to emotionally rely on you, because that causes them anxiety and they feel just the urge to pull away, take space, and create distance. It also shows a lack of communication. This is a person that is not communicating their fears to you. They're not communicating any need of space. They're just taking it. And they're doing it in a way without really letting the other person know what's going on. So when the avoidant is always busy or they're doing a terrible job replying to your texts in a timely manner, the common thing that happens when you're on the receiving end of this is that you blame yourself. You think you must have done something wrong, that you must have upset them in some way, shape, or form, or they are just losing interest in you because you're not good enough. That self-blame is a trap, and it's a trap that pushes you into anxiety and anxious attachment. A person that is emotionally healthy will communicate. A person that is emotionally available will communicate their needs and feelings to their partner. They won't leave the other person guessing, because an emotionally available, secure person feels confident in communication, but they also feel comfortable with emotional closeness. And they also feel empathy for the feelings of the other person. When the avoidant is taking all of this space and they're not communicating with you, they're not experiencing any empathy for the distress they're putting you in. They're not considering your feelings at all. They're only thinking of themselves and what their own perceived wants, needs, fears, and feelings are in that moment. That lack of empathy does indicate emotional unavailability, because empathy is one of the core components of emotional availability. But ultimately, this is a person that keeps themselves busy. Plus, the busyness is a distraction. It helps them avoid. They constantly have all these busybody activities to distract them from the emotions and the pain and anything in their life that they don't want to face, because that's what avoidants do. They avoid painful emotions. They avoid dealing with stress. They suppress it. They run from it. And the busyness not only helps create an emotional distance between themselves and their partner, which is how they feel safe, it also helps them avoid things that they just don't want to face. That's not a reflection of you. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It's a reflection of this person's inability to cope with emotional, relationship, and life stress. Don't blame yourself and don't beat yourself up.